Listen carefully, because the next few minutes can change the trajectory of your entire life. We all think we're waiting for a perfect moment, but the truth is the moment is waiting for you. Today I'm sharing 6 truths, not theories, not cliches, truths that shape champions. You know what stops most people before they even begin? The belief that they must first be chosen. Chosen by a company, chosen by a person, chosen by an audience, chosen by society. We wait, sometimes for years, hoping someone will grant us permission to step into our own brilliance. And in that waiting, life passes, opportunities dissolve, dreams dry out, we become spectators to our own potential. But here is the truth people avoid because it's uncomfortable. No one is coming to give you the green light. No one is obligated to validate your voice. The moment you understand this, not just intellectually but instinctively, you stop hesitating and start becoming. Because choosing yourself isn't arrogance, it's responsibility. If you don't believe in your worth first, why should anyone else? When you choose yourself, you ignite something powerful. A commitment to create your own path even when the world hasn't acknowledged you yet. And that act alone sets you apart from the majority who spend their lives waiting to be discovered instead of deciding to rise. Most people underestimate how deeply conditioning influences this tendency to wait. From childhood, we're trained to seek approval, gold stars, grades, applause. Every step is measured by someone else's standard. We learn to feel worthy only when others say we are. It's subtle but devastating. That dependency follows us into adulthood. Maybe you recognize it in yourself. You have ideas, but you don't speak up until someone asks. You have dreams, but you don't act until someone encourages. You have talent, but you hide it until someone notices. Waiting becomes a habit, passing time disguised as patience. And yet, beneath that conditioning lies an instinct, a knowing that you are meant for more. But instincts die in silence. They need movement to survive. The moment you choose yourself, that instinct wakes up. It remembers your strength. It remembers your capability. It remembers that your power was never meant to be outsourced to anyone else. Choosing yourself requires courage, not loud, dramatic courage, but daily, disciplined courage. Courage to take the first step when no one is clapping. Courage to show up consistently when no one is watching. Courage to trust your voice when doubt screams louder than belief. Choosing yourself means you may walk alone for a while. It means you might face rejection, mockery, misunderstanding. It means you might lose people who were comfortable with your smallness. But the alternate path, the path of waiting, shrinking, silencing, costs far more. Choosing yourself gives you ownership of your destiny. Waiting hands that power to circumstances. And nothing extraordinary was ever accomplished by someone who waited politely for permission. Greatness demands audacity. Even if your hands shake and your voice trembles, stepping forward anyway is the declaration that says, I refuse to be invisible in my own life. Some will argue, but I'm not ready yet. And that statement is the strongest evidence that they must choose themselves immediately. Because readiness is a myth. No athlete feels ready before the first competition. No entrepreneur feels ready before their first product. No creator feels ready before they share their work. Readiness doesn't precede action. Action creates readiness. Choosing yourself isn't about knowing everything or guaranteeing success. It's about being willing to begin despite uncertainty. The irony is the world tends to notice you after you choose yourself. People feel the conviction behind your decisions. Momentum attracts attention. But until you take that first step, no one sees you because you haven't seen yourself. When you declare your own value inwardly, the world reflects it outwardly, not before. There will also be people who accuse you of being selfish. They'll say you're too ambitious, too confident, too focused. And that's because they've been trained to prioritize being liked over being fulfilled. Choosing yourself disrupts expectations. It challenges silent agreements that keep people small. Understand this: choosing yourself doesn't mean ignoring others. It means refusing to abandon your potential to accommodate their comfort. You can still love deeply, care deeply, support deeply, but not at the expense of your purpose. When you honor your calling, you give others permission to honor theirs. Your decision becomes a mirror showing them the power they've postponed. Choosing yourself isn't selfish, it's the most responsible act of self-respect. It sets a standard. It signals that your time, your talent, your dreams are not negotiable accessories, they are priorities. Eventually, you realize something transformative. The world doesn't choose leaders first. It recognizes them after they've chosen themselves. Every breakthrough, personal, professional, spiritual, starts with a private decision. A moment where no one applauds, no spotlight shines, no guarantee exists. Just a quiet conviction that whispers, "I'm meant for more." And when you honor that voice, the world responds in ways you can't predict. Opportunities align, people show up, doors open that remained locked when you were waiting for permission. Not because the universe suddenly changed, but because you did. You shifted from passivity to agency, from hope to decision, from waiting to becoming. That shift is magnetic. So if you're listening, sitting on an idea, a dream, a vision you've convinced yourself isn't possible yet, understand this: no one will ever hand you your moment. You have to claim it. And when you do, people will wonder how you suddenly became confident, when the truth is, you simply stopped asking for consent to exist. Choose yourself. That decision is the spark that transforms potential into power. We live in a world obsessed with perfection. Carefully curated images, spotless resumes, flawless success stories told in highlight reels and edited timelines. Somewhere along the way, we learn to hide our wounds. We bury our heartbreaks, our failures, our mistakes, because we fear they make us undesirable, unworthy of admiration, opportunity, love. But the irony is bitter. The very experiences we try hardest to erase are the ones that shaped our resilience. Every scar is proof that you survived what was meant to break you. It is evidence of endurance, of strength earned through struggle. Pretending your life has been effortless isn't inspiring. It's empty. Your scars are your story. They are the chapters people need to hear. Because when you speak from pain transformed into power, others see possibility where they once saw only despair. Your vulnerability becomes a bridge. It invites someone else to believe that healing and greatness can coexist. Pretending you've never fallen doesn't elevate you, sharing how you rose does. You see, pain rewrites you. It forces you to discover dimensions of yourself you never knew existed. When life shatters your expectations, when betrayal wounds you, when failure crushes what you believed was your dream, there is a moment of death, not literal death, but the death of an identity, an illusion, an attachment. And from that moment you have a choice. Let the pain define you or let it redefine you. Some people allow pain to cage them. They relive their trauma on loop, waiting for closure that never comes. They cling to resentment, allowing bitterness to corrode their potential. But others, those who rise, they use pain as fuel. They ask, what is this teaching me? What can I build from this? Who can I become because of this? Transformation never happens in comfort. Growth requires friction, disappointment, heartbreak. The strength that emerges is real, not rehearsed. And once you've walked through fire, the flames no longer intimidate you. You stop fearing loss because you've lost before. You stop fearing uncertainty because you survived it. Scars don't make you fragile, they make you fearless. Every powerful story throughout history shares the same arc: adversity, struggle, rebirth. The character isn't compelling because they lived a perfect life. They are compelling because they confronted suffering and chose transformation instead of surrender. This isn't a coincidence, it's a universal pattern. Humans connect through struggle, not perfection. When you hide your scars, you disconnect from the people who need your story. Think about the people who've inspired you most. Were they flawless? Or did they reveal their pain openly, proving that triumph isn't about avoiding suffering but transcending it? When we pretend we've never been broken, we rob others of the hope that they too can rise from their darkness. Maybe the chapters of your story you avoid acknowledging are the very ones someone else is praying to hear. Maybe your healing can become someone else's roadmap. But first, you must stop apologizing for your wounds. They are not shame, they are wisdom encoded in experience. There comes a point where you realize that scars aren't signs of weakness, they are symbols of survival. They mark the battles you endured, the choices you made when giving up seemed easier, the resilience built through silent nights of doubt and despair. You carry lessons that cannot be bought, only earned. When you share your scars, not as excuses but as testimony, you reclaim your narrative. You stop being defined by what happened to you and start defining yourself by how you responded. And make no mistake, how you respond is the most powerful instrument of transformation you possess. Pain doesn't automatically produce strength. Pain produces choices. Many people bury their wounds, numbing themselves into average lives. But those who rise choose meaning. They alchemize suffering into purpose. They turn their story into a mission. They speak not to impress, but to impact. They lead not from superiority, but from experience. Your credibility is not built by perfection. It's built by overcoming. Yet embracing your scars doesn't mean romanticizing struggle or pretending trauma was necessary or good. Pain is real. Loss is unfair. Betrayal wounds deeply. Healing isn't linear, and resilience isn't automatic. Acknowledging that truth is part of what makes scars powerful symbols. When you accept that you were hurt, that you broke, that you struggled, and you still continued, that is where strength is born. Too many people believe that acknowledging pain makes them weak. So they suppress, minimize, detach. But emotion unacknowledged becomes a prison. Freedom begins when you tell your story honestly. When you give voice to the experiences that shaped you, not to dwell, but to reclaim your agency. To declare, I'm not defined by what happened to me, I'm defined by who I became because of it. Healing requires courage far greater than denial. Anyone can pretend, few can face themselves with honesty. And those who do unlock a power that cannot be taken away. So when you think of your scars, the trauma, the mistakes, the failures, the disappointments, don't rush to cover them. Stand with them, own them. Understand that they are the parts of your story that give you authority to speak, to lead, to inspire. They are the proof that your strength is real, not hypothetical. They are the foundation of empathy, resilience, purpose. The world doesn't need another perfect success story. It needs people who've walked through darkness and emerged with compassion and conviction. Your scars are not obstacles to your future. They are evidence you are prepared for it. Someone, somewhere, needs the strength you gained from what tried to destroy you. Someone needs to see that scars can be beautiful. Someone needs to hear your story so they can find the courage to rewrite theirs. Your scars are not the end of your story. They are the beginning of your power. Discipline is the quiet force that separates who you are from who you could become. It sits in the mundane, overlooked moments when nobody is watching, when temptation whispers, when comfort calls, when excuses feel justified. Intention alone cannot transform you. Desire is not enough. Dreams without discipline dissolve. Every goal ever accomplished was achieved through consistent, often painful decisions made when motivation was absent. That's the reality most people avoid. The greatest obstacle between you and the life you want isn't lack of opportunity. It's lack of disciplined follow-through. People romanticize success yet reject the D. Is comfort required to build it? Discipline demands sacrifice. It requires you to choose long-term identity over short-term indulgence. And in that choice, repeated relentlessly, you reshape your character. You prove to yourself that you honor your commitments, and that proof becomes the foundation of unshakable confidence. The myth about discipline is that it requires superhuman strength. But discipline isn't dramatic or loud, it's in the small decisions compounded over time. It's waking up when you said you would, even when the bed feels warm and sleep offers seduction. It's sticking to the plan after the excitement fades. It's prioritizing your growth when distractions disguise themselves as obligations. The people who transform are not the ones with special talent or limitless resources. They are the ones who choose consistency over intensity. Anyone can aim high for a moment, but discipline is what keeps the aim steady long after the adrenaline disappears. That is what builds identity. Every repeated action casts a vote for the type of person you become. When you show up for yourself daily, you don't just build skills, you build belief. That belief changes your standards. And when your standards rise, your life follows. We often confuse intention with action. We mistake planning for progress. We feel productive imagining the future, but remain stagnant because imagining is easier than executing. Real growth begins the moment you stop negotiating with excuses. Discipline eliminates negotiation. It replaces emotion-driven decisions with identity-driven ones. You stop acting based on how you feel in the moment and start acting based on who you are becoming. This shift is everything. It rewires the relationship between effort and reward. Suddenly, discomfort becomes evidence of progress instead of something to escape. When you understand that resistance isn't a signal to stop, but a sign you're evolving, you break free from old patterns. Without discipline, even the strongest intention collapses at the first sign of difficulty. With discipline, even the smallest intention can compound into unstoppable momentum. There will be days when discipline feels impossible, days when burnout presses heavy, when doubt whispers toxic truths, when progress feels invisible. Those are the moments that define you. Because discipline isn't tested when everything feels aligned. It's tested when nothing does. When progress is slow and gratitude feels distant. When failure mocks you and others doubt you. Discipline asks whether your commitment survives discomfort. Anyone can act disciplined for a week, few sustain it for months or years. And yet, the separation between dreamers and achievers lies in one simple reality. Achievers persist through resistance. They fall but return, fail but recommit, struggle but stay consistent. Discipline is not perfection, it is perseverance. It is choosing better even after choosing poorly. Self-redemption through action. You may falter, but discipline demands you return. That return is what changes destiny. The beauty of discipline is that it frees you. Many think discipline restricts, but the opposite is true. Indiscipline traps you in cycles of regret and inconsistency.